Essa é a melhor aposta?
Não, queria super luta.
No, I want a super fight.
Oh, super fight at heavyweight.
I can think of one
Wow.
name.
Derek
I would,
Lewis? It's Aspinall, man.
Bom, não sei se pô, Casa Branca, Jon Jones.
Jon
seria uma
Jones.
super luta.
At the White House.
Jon Jones. That's
okay.
a super fight.
All right, so he's
Jon Jones just sent a massive bombshell message to Alex Pereira. I'll see you at 205 pounds. After Pereira's devastating knockout at UFC 320 and his call out for a White House super fight, Jon Bones Jones has responded with an offer that's shaking the entire MMA world. And I'm telling you right now, this changes everything.
I don't want to fight dangerous up-and-comers anymore. I want to fight dangerous, established champions. So Tom can have the heavyweight championship. I don't really care about it. That my value doesn't lie in belts anymore. I created something much bigger. I want Pereira.
But there's a veteran UFC fighter who's warning Pereira that this might be the worst decision of his career. Let's break it all down. Jon Jones has sent a massive message to Alex Pereira, and it's not what anyone expected. According to former UFC fighter and insider Chael Sonnen, Jones is ready to make this super fight happen, but on his terms.
Let me give you the hot take of the day. If I'm in Jon Jones's shoes and I hear this and I feel this buzz and there's this huge fight and it has all of a sudden got my interest, but there's no title on the line, I can fix that real fast. I can say, I will fight you, and I'll even find a world title because it's going to be yours. I'll see you at 205 pounds. And if Jon Jones does that, my partner, we're having a very different conversation.
Here's the bombshell. Jon Jones is willing to come back down to 205 pounds to fight Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight championship. Let me read you exactly what Sonnen revealed. If I'm in Jon Jones's shoes and I hear this buzz, there's this huge fight and it has all of a sudden got my interest, but there's no title on the line, I can fix that real fast. I can say, I can fight you and I'll even find a world title because it's gonna be yours. I'll see you at 205 pounds.
Let me give you the hot take of the day. If I'm in Jon Jones's shoes and I hear this and I feel this buzz and there's this huge fight and it has all of a sudden got my interest, but there's no title on the line, I can fix that real fast. I can say, I will fight you, and I'll even find a world title because it's going to be yours. I'll see you at 205 pounds. And if Jon Jones does that, my partner, we're having a very different conversation.
Oh, chill. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
Think about what this means. Instead of Pereira moving up to heavyweight where he'd be at a massive disadvantage, Jones is saying he'll come back down to light heavyweight, the division he absolutely dominated for years, and fight Pereira for his title.
Donald Trump mentioned that he wanted to have a fight at the White House Garden. That just seems like such a huge opportunity. I'm a very proud American. I have a lot of close friends that are in the military. To be able to entertain the country and the world at this level at the White House, it just means the world to me. So I'm back.
This is genius on multiple levels. Jones gets a title fight. He potentially becomes a 3-time light heavyweight champion, and he gives Dana White no choice but to put him on that White House card because it's for a world championship. Now, let me take you back to Saturday night and show you why we're even having this conversation.
And Jon Jones says he wants to be on there too, and he says he would fight whoever the champion is at that time. But would you be okay with him like coming back and potentially winning that belt again? And you might have to go through.
Well, it's not even about him winning the belt. I mean, you know how I felt about him. I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Especially the White House card.
At UFC 320, Alex Pereira put on an absolute masterclass. In a highly anticipated rematch against Magomed Ankalaev, the man who had taken his title, Pereira reclaimed the UFC light heavyweight championship in absolutely devastating fashion. How fast did it happen? 1 minute and 20 seconds. That's all it took for Pereira to knock out Ankalaev and become a 2-time light heavyweight champion. 1 minute, 20 seconds.
I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get respect up on the street. Under the sun, the bastard son will pop the clock to feed himself and family. My enemies, your enemies, my enemies, we wet them up like a canteen. The yellow tape surrounds the face, don't have a face, so now you late. Open the gates, great, eliminate like a lemonade. Hey, young boy had to penetrate. Face, young boy done caught a case. Bang, now we're mama living with the pain. Wait, doctor says he's gonna stay.
The power that Alex Pereira possesses is something we rarely see in combat sports. Former UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland, who actually trains with Pereira, put it perfectly. The guy has the death punch, dude. There's some guy that has that death punch, and that's Alex.
Man, the guy has a death punch, dude. Like, fucking A, dude. Like, Ankalaev, dude, he's came and trained us, so he's so fucking good, dude. But, like, Alex just has that thing that, like, comes once in a lifetime. Like, Chuck Liddell had it. There's some guys that just have that death punch. That's Alex.
Strickland even compared Pereira to Chuck Liddell, saying it's that once-in-a-lifetime knockout power that can end any fight at any moment. After his victory, Pereira showed pure class by calling for a moment of silence for Jon Jones's brother, Arthur, who tragically passed away on October 3rd. But Pereira also revealed what his original plan had been, to call out Jon Jones for a fight at the White House.
Respeita a família. I had a whole speech prepared tonight. I talked to my team over it, but we got some news recently. Some things happened, so I want to give my respect to Jon Jones and his whole family, and I want to ask everyone here and everyone at home to take a moment of silence for his brother.
At the UFC 320 post-fight press conference, with his newly reclaimed title around his waist, Alex Pereira made his intentions absolutely clear. Thanks for congratulating me, but all I want is a super fight. I want to fight at heavyweight.
Middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev has called you out and said that congratulations, but now you guys need to finish your business. Are you aware of what business that is, and are you interested in him moving up to fight you at this stage?
Thanks for congratulating me, but all I want is a super fight. I want to fight at heavyweight, but all I can say is thank you.
Só agradeço só pelos parabéns.
And then he got specific. I was going to ask for Jon Jones at the White House, but with everything that happened, it's not the right time to talk about it. I want a super fight. It would be at the White House against Jon Jones. That's a super fight.
Please, with all the respect, I was going to ask for Jon Jones in the White House, but with everything that happened, it's not the right time to talk about it.
Call it of him.
I'll answer his question, and I'll answer this subject one time. And, you know, I with all the respect I have for the situation, and I've said this in the back, you know, a lot of people try to create a lot of stuff around this. So, again, please, with all the respect, I was going to ask for Jon Jones in the White House, but with everything that happened, it's not the right time to talk about it.
This is huge, folks. Pereira is already a two-division UFC champion. If he were to move up to heavyweight and defeat Jon Jones, he would become the first three-division champion in UFC history. That's legendary status right there. Pereira even addressed concerns about holding up the light heavyweight division, saying, "I don't think that's needed. Everyone knows how often I fight, so that's not going to be an issue." And he's right. The man fights multiple times a year and has never turned down a challenge. He's been an absolute warrior for the UFC. But before everyone gets too excited about this potential super fight, a retired UFC veteran just issued a serious warning to Alex Pereira. Matt Brown, a former UFC welterweight who fought the absolute best in the world, thinks Pereira might be walking into a disaster, and he didn't hold back with his assessment. Brown called this matchup literally the nightmare matchup for Alex Pereira.
The matchup is literally the nightmare matchup for Alex Pereira.
Let me read you his exact words. Jon is as big, probably a little bit bigger than Alex Pereira. At heavyweight, certainly bigger. 1,000,000 times better wrestler. There's no way in hell that Alex has wrestling at Jon Jones's level at this point, even if Jon Jones is out doing cocaine for the last year and then just shows up and fights.
Like, Jon is as big, probably bigger. I think probably a little bit bigger than Alex Pereira. A heavyweight, certainly bigger. You know, a million times better wrestler. Like, there's no possible way in hell that Alex, you know, his wrestling is to Jon Jones's level at this point. Even if Jon Jones is out doing cocaine for the last year and then just shows up and fights.
Brown is saying that even if Jones spent a year partying and just showed up, his wrestling would still be levels above what Pereira can handle. Matt Brown raises an important question. Is this about sport or entertainment? He admits that entertainment-wise, this fight would be massive. The buildup would be insane. The betting would be crazy. People would be hyped beyond belief. But competitively, Brown sees this as a complete mismatch in Jones's favor, especially in the wrestling department.
You know, which I think we talked about a little bit about the White House card period. You know, is this going to be a, you know, make the biggest fights you can, or, you know, make relevant fights? And if you're making the biggest fight you can, you go with Alex Pereira, Jon Jones, 100%. especially if you're Dana and you trust that Jon Jones is going to make it there on time.
So now that Jon Jones has reportedly sent this bombshell message, I'll see you at 205 pounds. Let's talk about why this changes the entire dynamic of this potential fight. First, the weight class matters hugely. At heavyweight, Jones would have a significant size advantage. But at 205 pounds, that's Pereira's division. That's where he just knocked out Ankalaev in 80 seconds. That's where he's comfortable and dominant. MMA legend Demetrius Johnson has said the White House card doesn't need big names like Jones who pick and choose their fights. He wants active fighters to get priority.
Like, let's say Jon Jones comes back, he fights Johnson Almeida. He was like, you know what? I want to be on the White House card. What do I got to do? They're like, okay, you fight the winner of Volkov versus Johnson Almeida. Bet. And then he beats Johnson Almeida. Then it's okay, perfect. You're going to fight the winner of XYZ on the White House. Perfect. I'm all for it. But I just don't like when somebody's iced, sitting there chilling, they get to pick and choose what they do. Maybe they earn that right. I have no idea. Right? And all the accomplishment Jon Jones has done, it's amazing. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that if we got guys who are on the roster and fighting their asses off, they should have the first dibs to get on the White House. Even for Conor, we don't need his ass on the White House, right? But I know him and Donald Trump, they got some good things going. But I just don't want to see other athletes miss out on an opportunity that are fighting right now. But
and especially the White House card is going to be the ultimate casual attraction, put on the pinnacle of the sport. That's what we need to represent.
And see what Gane. Like, who you think is the winner? Something that interests you.
Cara, ali
it's a tough fight. You know, Tom is a complete fighter, but I do feel like he's fought a lot of aggressive guys, and I think Gane is a guy who's going to do a lot of movement. He's going to be a little more cautious and you know, just moving around a lot. It might frustrate Tom. You know, so first, second, third round, maybe Tom can't find Cyril Gane, so I think it's going to be a different fight. We'll see. Really don't know. We'll have to see. You know, obviously my body gets heavier. I don't know how long I can cut to 205. So we're just going to have to see and take it fight by fight.
Alex Pereira just dropped a massive bombshell that's sending shockwaves through the heavyweight division. The light heavyweight king has a stark warning for Tom Aspinall ahead of UFC 321. Alex Pereira's shocking prediction for the UFC 321 heavyweight title fight between Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane. Poatan didn't hold back, and what he said might just change how you see this matchup. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Alex Pereira, fresh off preparing for his own UFC 320 rematch with Magomed Ankalaev, took time during a media scrum to deliver a prediction that nobody saw coming. But Pereira, he sees something completely different. Through his translator, Poatan laid it out clearly. This is going to be a tough night for Tom Aspinall. Here's exactly what he said. It's a tough fight. Tom is a complete fighter, but I do feel like he's fought a lot of aggressive guys, and I think Gane is a guy who's going to do a lot of moving. He's going to be a little more cautious, and that moving around a lot might frustrate Tom.
It's a tough fight, you know. Tom is a complete fighter, but I do feel like he's fought a lot of aggressive guys, and I think Gane is a guy who's going to do a lot of movement. He's going to be a little more cautious and you know, just moving around a lot. It might frustrate Tom.
But wait, it gets even more interesting. Pereira continued. First, second, third round. Maybe Tom can't find Cyril Gane. I think it's going to be a different fight.
You know, so first, second, third round, maybe Tom can't find Cyril Gane, so I think it's going to be a different fight. We'll see.
One of the most devastating strikers in UFC history is telling us that Tom Aspinall might spend 3 rounds chasing Gane around the octagon without being able to land that signature knockout blow. That's a huge statement, and if that wasn't enough, Alex Pereira took to Twitter to double down on his prediction, sending a direct message to the MMA world. But here's where it gets really interesting. Tom Aspinall himself seems to agree that this won't be a typical fight. again. In an exclusive interview with Bloody Elbow, Tom Aspinall revealed something that backs up Pereira's prediction. He believes Ciryl Gane has been working on the holes in his ground game, and he wouldn't be surprised if Gane tries to take him down. Aspinall said, "I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to take me down. It's MMA, so I'm preparing for everything. We've seen that Ciryl has holes in his ground game, but he's improved.
And I think that Ciryl is no exception, but obviously there are some weaknesses in his ground game that we've seen, but I'm sure he's improved. You know what I mean? This is an MMA fight, it can go anywhere, so I'm sure we'll both be ready for anything.
Now that's a plot twist. Everyone remembers Gane being out-wrestled by Francis Ngannou and submitted by Jon Jones in his previous title shots. His ground game has been his Achilles heel, but if Aspinall is preparing for grappling exchanges, that tells us Gane's camp has been cooking up something special. Aspinall continued, "I wouldn't be surprised if we get in a lot of grappling exchanges this time, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have a straight-up stand-up fight either. You've got to be ready for anything in MMA, and I'm preparing for everything." This is the mark of a true champion, respecting your opponent's evolution. Aspinall isn't overlooking Gane. He knows this is his toughest test yet, and he's preparing for every scenario. The question is, will preparation be enough against Gane's elite movement? Tom Aspinall walked into a hostile environment in the French capital, and let me tell you, the Parisian crowd showed up for their hometown hero, Ciryl Gane. Aspinall tried to kick things off with a simple statement. I mean, there was nobody else to fight, and that's when the boos came raining down. The crowd drowned him out completely.
I mean, there was nobody else to fight.
When they finally let him speak, Aspinall delivered a classic line. "If I hit anybody, I can knock anybody out." Ciryl is no exception. Then he added, "It's rare to see two heavyweights our size move like we do. This is the new age of heavyweights."
No, I think that if I hit anybody, I can knock anybody out. It's pretty rare that you see any guys of our size that move like we do. So I think this is really like the new age of the heavyweights.
And Gane? Cool as ice. He simply said, "He's never fought someone like me. I bring something different."
Never fought someone like me though. I bring something very different. I've got my own.
Both fighters are 6'5". Both are mobile. Both are dangerous. But only one can leave Abu Dhabi as champion. So we've heard from Pereira. We've heard from the fighters themselves, but what about the people who train with Aspinall every single day? Martin Boudet, a frequent training partner of Aspinall and part of that heavyweight mega camp that includes longtime KSW champion Phil DeFries, had this to say. "I love Tom Aspinall and like his team, his father, like everyone in that team. I think he will secure like spectacular win and finish in that and like defend the title."
Like I love Tom Aspinall and like his team, his father, like everyone in that team. So I'm really looking up to that fight, and I will be cheering for Tom. I think he will secure like a spectacular win and finish in that and like defend the title.
Now Boudet is obviously biased. These are his training partners, his friends. But what's interesting is that even someone in Aspinall's inner circle is predicting a spectacular finish, not necessarily a quick one. Could this be a war that ends dramatically in the later rounds? And here's a fun fact. If Aspinall wins at UFC 321 and Boudet captures the Octagon MMA heavyweight belt in his upcoming fight with Will Fleury, Team Aspinall would hold major heavyweight belts across multiple organizations worldwide. Talk about dominance.
Last minute. Foot drop. Last minute. Foot drop.
So, let's break this down. What do we really have here? On one side, you have Tom Aspinall, a 15-3 fighter who's been an absolute wrecking ball, finishing opponents faster than they can blink. He's got power, he's got submission skills, and he's got the heavyweight gold around his waist.
Low kick as well.
On the other side, you have Ciryl Gane, a 13-2 fighter with some of the best footwork and striking in the heavyweight division. Yes, he's lost 2 title fights, but both were against all-time greats in Ngannou and Jones. And now, he's had time to shore up his weaknesses. Here's what makes this fight so intriguing. Aspinall has been knocking out aggressive, come-forward fighters. But Gane is the opposite. He's elusive, patient, and tactical. Can Aspinall adjust his game to catch a fighter who doesn't want to engage in a firefight? But what do you think? Is Pereira right? Will Gane's movement frustrate Aspinall and take this fight into the championship rounds? Or will Aspinall prove everyone wrong and score another first-round knockout? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest MMA news and analysis.
Você, Poatan, você está certo. Eu não vou ter nenhuma palavra a dizer, porque você vai acabar dormindo depois que ter que trabalhar na borracharia de novo.
É, pode ser, né? Tá vendo? O cara fala besteira. Eu nem tinha visto isso aí, velho. De verdade.
Eu tô ligado.
Pô, juro pelos meus filhos, velho. Não tinha visto. Aí eu fiquei pensando, né, velho? O cara chegar ao ponto de se esconder dentro do PI com medo. Eu achei, não, de verdade, eu achei que, tipo, o UFC ali, pô. E olha só, quando a gente chegou o segurança depois. E aí eu falei, pô, nunca teve isso, velho. Tipo, pô, eu nunca demonstrei que eu queria ter. Eu nunca fiz isso, entendeu? Aí eu fiquei ali na minha. Mas agora eu consigo entender que o cara fala bosta e depois ele. Porque, tipo assim, eu no lugar dele eu falar uma parada, mano, eu vou segurar a parada e vou ficar ali, entendeu? Não vou sair pro cara ficar à vontade aqui, não, entendeu? E, pô, de verdade, eu segurava o BO, entendeu? Mas o ponto de o cara se esconder numa sala, velho, porque. Uma coisa até engraçada que aconteceu ali agora, a saída do PI, né? Eu vi ali o treinador do Ankalaev, eu fiquei ali na minha, mas não vi o Ankalaev. O engraçado foi na hora que eu saí do PI, aí quando eu cheguei no carro, né? Um cara do meu time, né? Tava lá dentro ainda, né? E viu, tipo, a menina do PI falando pro Ankalaev, pode vir, ele já foi embora já. Tipo, porra, escondendo o cara, escondendo o cara na salinha ali, velho. O cara acha que eu vou encontrar ele e vou sair brigando com o cara, velho. Pô, não sou idiota, né, velho?
Mas será que não foi o que ele falou na internet?
Eu não sei o que ele falou, não.
Você, Poatan, você está certo. Eu não vou ter nenhuma palavra a dizer, porque você vai acabar dormindo depois que ter que trabalhar na borracharia de novo.
É, pode ser, né? Tá vendo? O cara fala besteira. Eu nem tinha visto isso aí, velho. De verdade.
Eu tô ligado.
E, pô, de verdade, eu segurava o BO, entendeu? Mas o ponto de o cara se esconder numa sala, velho, porque eu tô no mesmo ambiente, velho. Ah, pô, o cara é um frouxo, velho. Esse é um frouxo, pô. Eu vou ficar na minha ali, entendeu? Eu nunca vou, tipo, arrumar uma confusão com o cara, nunca vou chegar. Lógico, a não ser que o cara venha pra cima, tá ligado? Tá, eu tenho que me defender também, né? Mas aí, tipo, pô, que campeão é esse, velho? Que campeão de merda, velho. Aí, achei a única besteira que eu falei, velho. Mas é um campeão de merda, velho, um cara desse. Mas sabe por quê? Não pelo que ele fala, mas hoje tem que se esconder numa sala, velho. Demonstrou que é um cagão, velho. Vamos ver. Vamos ver. Porra, se escondendo agora, mas porra, a gente vai estar na jaula lá, velho, trancado lá, velho. Não vai ter. A não ser que ele vai pular a grade, velho. Ah, um campeão de merda, um cara desse, velho. Pô. Chama!
Sit down, sit down. Go.
Tonight, we dive deep into the brewing storm between former two-division champion Alex Pereira and current light heavyweight king Magomed Ankalaev. What started as professional rivalry has erupted into personal warfare just days before their highly anticipated UFC 320 rematch on October 4th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Our top story tonight centers around a shocking encounter at the UFC Performance Institute that has sent shockwaves through the MMA community. According to Alex Pereira, what should have been routine training preparations turned into an embarrassing display of what he calls cowardice from the current light heavyweight champion. Something funny happened just now when I was leaving the PI. I saw Ankalaev's coach there. When I got to the car, someone from my team was still inside, and he heard the girl from the PI say to Ankalaev, he can come now, he's already left.
Uma coisa até engraçada que aconteceu ali agora, a saída do PI, né? Eu vi ali o treinador do Ankalaev, eu fiquei ali na minha, mas não vi o Ankalaev. O engraçado foi na hora que eu saí do PI, aí quando eu cheguei no carro, né? Um cara do meu time, né? Tava lá dentro ainda, né? E viu, tipo, a menina do PI falando pro Ankalaev, pode vir, ele já foi embora já. Tipo, porra.
Pereira claims that Ankalaev was deliberately hiding from him in a separate room, waiting for the all-clear before emerging. The Brazilian didn't hold back in his assessment of the situation. He was hiding. They hid the guy in a little room. This guy thinks I'm going to run into him and start fighting. Do I look stupid, bro?
Escondendo o cara, se escondendo o cara na salinha ali, velho. O cara acha que eu vou encontrar ele e vou sair brigando com o cara, velho. Pô, não sou idiota, né, velho?
This alleged incident has become the catalyst for one of the most heated rivalries we've seen in recent UFC history. What happened next was a verbal assault that left no doubt about Pereira's feelings toward the current champion. In a YouTube video that has since gone viral, Poatan unleashed a tirade that questioned not just Ankalaev's courage, but his worthiness as champion. The fact that the guy hides in a room because I'm in the same place as him. Ah, man, he's a chump. He's a chump. What kind of champion is that man? A champion. I know that's harsh, but he's a shitsy champion, man.
Mas o ponto de um cara se esconder na sala, velho, porque eu tô no mesmo ambiente, velho. Ah, pô, o cara é um frouxo, velho. Esse é um frouxo, pô. Eu vou ficar na minha ali, entendeu? Eu nunca vou, tipo, arrumar uma confusão com o cara, nunca vou chegar. Lógico, a não ser que o cara venha pra cima, tá ligado? Tá, eu tenho que me defender também, né? Mas aí, tipo, que campeão é esse, velho? Que campeão de merda, velho. Aí.
Pereira didn't stop there. The former champion, who dominated the light heavyweight division with 3 successful title defenses in less than a year, made it clear he believes Ankalaev's behavior is unbecoming of a UFC champion. He's shown he's a coward, man. Hiding now, will be in the cage, locked in there. Unless he jumps the fence, he's a champion, this guy.
Demonstrou que é um cagão, velho. Vamos ver. Vamos ver. Porra, se escondendo agora, mas porra, a gente vai dar na jaula lá, velho, trancado lá, velho. Não vai ter. A não ser que ele vai pular a grade, velho. Ah, um campeão de merda, um cara desse, velho. Oh. Chama!
These are fighting words from a man who built his reputation on fearless aggression and knockout power. Pereira's frustration seems to stem not just from losing his title, but from what he perceives as disrespectful behavior from his successor. The Brazilian emphasized his professionalism, stating he would never start a physical altercation outside the octagon, making Ankalaev's alleged avoidance all the more puzzling to him.
Good luck tomorrow, boys. Thank you.
Magomed Ankalaev, never one to back down from confrontation, responded with characteristic confidence and a reminder of their recent history. Taking to social media, the Dagestani champion fired back at what he called Pereira's clown behavior. This clown who I'm fighting said I'm hiding from him, I'm giving him a rematch, and he should be very grateful. I whooped him for 5 rounds, and I did everything I wanted to him during the fight. Let's focus on fighting and not trash talking. But Ankalaev wasn't finished. In a follow-up post, he delivered a brutal reminder of their respective fighting records and made a bold prediction for their upcoming rematch. This guy has been knocked out 3 times in his career. I never been knocked down. This time I will give him his 4th knockout. End of the story. To understand the depth of this rivalry, we need to look back at their first encounter at UFC 313 in March. Ankalaev shocked the MMA world by defeating the seemingly unstoppable Alex Pereira via unanimous decision. The Dagestani fighter implemented a perfect game plan, neutralizing Pereira's devastating striking power and controlling the pace for 5 full rounds. This victory ended Pereira's remarkable run that saw him capture titles in 2 different weight classes and defend the light heavyweight crown 3 times with 3 spectacular finishes. What made this defeat particularly stinging for Pereira was how thoroughly he was outclassed in his own domain, striking. Pereira's journey to the top had been nothing short of meteoric. After losing to Israel Adesanya at middleweight, he moved up to 205 pounds and became an unstoppable force. He knocked out Jamahal Hill to win the vacant title, then defended it with brutal finishes against Jiri Prochazka twice and Khalil Rountree Jr.
Again, they made it so dangerous.
Oh! Oh! Right from
His aura of invincibility made Ankalaev's methodical dismantling all the more impressive. The Russian utilized superior footwork, mixed in takedowns, and most importantly, refused to engage in the wild exchanges where Pereira thrives. The rematch negotiations themselves became contentious. Ankalaev publicly questioned whether Pereira had retired, while the Brazilian maintained he simply wanted time to recover. Former UFC fighter Johnny Walker, who has faced Ankalaev twice, offered insight into what Pereira needs to do differently in the rematch. I believe that if Pereira put a little bit more, be a little bit more aggressive. Both guys are very safe, and if both keep safe, it's going to go for the points again.
But I believe that if Pereira put a little bit more, be a little bit more aggressive, because Pereira also, he doesn't come rushing people. I think the difference in that fight, who's gonna have more advantage, who take more risk, a little bit more risk. Both guys are very safe. They are deadly, but they're both very safe. And if you both keep safe, he's gonna go for the points again,
Don't leave him hanging then, not one. Thank you, John.
Body early. Trying to drop it.
He defended 2 takedowns. He's chipping away. Never going to learn to be able to get back to the feet. Still on the feet. There's no urgency.
Eso completo. Un golpe. Vamos a overreacting al 100%. Van a sacar con su aquí atrás.
Who is coaching Spivak. So that's really good. Look at that. I'm still not going to disengage.
Everything in these shots. Arriba y el codo de la cabeza. Impresionante. Qué buen codo. Primero.
Here we go. Big trouble. Second now. Big shots, but some shots like Gane.
In a massive bombshell statement that sent shockwaves through the MMA world, Cyril Gane has declared that his upcoming fight against Tom Aspinall is going to be easy to prepare for, and it's all thanks to Jon Jones' spotlight on the British champion. Let's start with the bombshell that has everyone talking. Cyril Gane, the former interim heavyweight champion, has made a stunning declaration about his preparation for Tom Aspinall, claiming the fight will be easy to get ready for and crediting Jon Jones for making it possible. In a recent interview, Gane revealed his mindset heading into his third shot at heavyweight gold. All of that, the conference, the media, everything is heavy for the fighter. I remember against Francis, it was so heavy. For Jon Jones, it was easier, so I'm sure for the next one, it's going to be easy.
At first, I think all of that, you see, the conference, the media, everything it's heavy for the fighter. And I remember against Francis, it was so heavy. It was not easy. And yeah, this is a good exercise because you must be prepared for that. This has had a little bit more pressure for the storytelling, everything. And yeah, I remember for Jon Jones, it was easier. So I'm sure for the next one, it's going to be easier.
But here's where it gets interesting. Gane's confidence stems from his experience under the Jon Jones spotlight, having already faced the pressure of fighting Bones at UFC 285. The French striker believes he's now battle-tested for the biggest stage. Tom Aspinall is the new generation. He's a tough guy, well-rounded, but I'm also a good fighter, Gane stated. It's going to be a beautiful matchup.
Well-rounded, so yeah, he's a good fighter. I'm also a good fighter, so it's going to be a beautiful matchup. It's going to be a beautiful matchup. He's going to have his tactic, I'm going to have mine. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited about this challenge.
This confidence is striking considering Gane enters as a significant underdog against Aspinall, who opened as a -350 betting favorite. The MMA Twitter sphere has absolutely exploded following Gane's comments, with fans and fighters weighing in on what many are calling either supreme confidence or dangerous overconfidence.